All right, all praises to Yahweh Wah, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles, GMS in New York, who also are elders, and honors to you brothers out there on the highways and byways. My name is Maya Kala Nagab, and this is part 3. That's Simon Altaf is an idiot. Basically he's an idiot of the scriptures, and he's just saying some dumb things, all right. And you can see he don't keep the Torah. Look, he got his face shaved, his beard shaved and everything. Look at this, man, all lined up and shit. He got his head prophesied, but I'm gonna focus on the main things. What he said, just listen what he said. That I think 13 minutes and 13 seconds.
That's 26 million for Israelites. Again, the answer is no. You can check history, you can talk to historians, you can go check the records on the ships. All of those people, many of those people had African names, like Monday, Tuesday. These are African names, so let us not pretend something that isn't. There were a small number of Israelites. One thing I want to say, the Torah does not mandate that every Israelite will be cursed. The Torah mandates that every Israelite will have a blessing from God.
That's a lie, man. All right, the Torah said we will be cursed if we don't follow laws, statutes, commandments, man. All right, so let's get this. Deuteronomy. All right, let's get this Deuteronomy 27. All right, verse 1, it says what? And Moses with the elders of Israel commanded the people, saying, keep all the commandments which I command you this day. All right, so there you go. You jump to 9. It said, Moses and the priests, the Levites, spake unto all Israel, saying, take heed, hearken, O Israel, that this day that thou art become the people of Yahweh thy power. Thou shalt therefore obey the voice of Yahweh thy God, and do his commandments and statutes which I commanded this day. All right. So, yeah, man. And then you go right here. It said what? Deuteronomy 28:15. It said, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken to the voice of Yahweh thy God, to observe his commandments and his statutes I command thee this day, that all the curse shall come upon thee and overtake thee. All right. So yeah, all Israel was cursed, man, but disobeying his law, statutes, commandments, man. What the hell are you talking about, man? All right, you don't know scriptures, man. All right, so let's get this. Let's see, 20. All right. Let's see. It says what? It said Leviticus 26:38, and ye shall perish among the heathens, and the land of your enemies shall eat you up. Talking about here in America, man, wherever we scattered. And they that are left of you shall pine away in their iniquities in your enemies' lands. And also iniquities of their fathers shall they pine away with them. I mean, rot away, man. All right, man, the curse should be with us, man. All right. This curse is going to constantly destroying us, man. All right. And then you go back to let's see, Deuteronomy 28. It says right here, it says what? Deuteronomy 28 and 45 and 46. It says what? Moreover, all the curse shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to keep his commandments and statutes which he commanded this day. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder upon thy seed forever. Meaning a long time, man. All right, this guy idiot, man. All right, then it says right here, it says right here, about the curse being lift us in the future, man. All right, it says what? And it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing, the curse which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all nations, whether Yahweh had driven thee. All right, man, we're going to come back to our nationality. We're going to come back obeying Yahweh. We're going to obey his law, statutes, commandments. and shall return unto Yahweh thy power, and shall obey his voice according to all I command thee this day that thou and thy children, all thy heart, with all thy soul, that then Yahweh will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return thee and gather thee from all nations, where Yahweh has scattered thee. All right, what that guy talking about, you know, talking about there gonna be no Israelites coming from Ghana and all that. You got idiot, man. I already took care of that, man. All right, so it says, I'll go to jump down to 7. It says right here. It says, you know what? I'm gonna start before. If any of thy be driven out to the uttermost parts of the heaven, from thence will Yahweh gather thee from thence, and he will fetch thee, and Yahweh will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it, and he will do thee good, multiply thee above thy fathers. And Yahweh thy power will circumcise thy heart and the heart of thy seed to love Yahweh thy power, all thy heart and all thy soul. Thou right, man. That's in Hebrews chapter 8 and Jeremiah 31, man. All right, he gonna put us in us, man, to obey his laws, statute, commandments, man. We're gonna be going off, man. We're gonna be perfect, man. You know, like Yahweh shot. All right, it says what Hebrews 8 and 8 and 8. It says, for finding fault with them, he said, behold, the days come, said Yahweh, where I'll make a new covenant with the house of Israel, with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continue not my covenant. I regard them not, say Yahweh, for this is a covenant I will make with the house of Israel after those days, said Yahweh, I will put my laws into their mind and write them to their hearts, and I will be to them a God, and they shall be to me a people. And they shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know Yahweh, for all shall know me, from the least to the greatest. All right. So there you go, man. Proving that the whole nation of Israel was cursed, man. We no some this and that, man. No. All right. We gonna be you know, the curse is lift up now, man. Cause we lifting up, man. It's being slowly lifted up. It's like, I mean, the curse has been slowly lifted up, man, every day, man. All right, because the elect of Israel, we waking up, man. All right, Lord, we are your brothers out here sincere, man, and sisters sincere, man. We hope we the elect. All right.
Provided they obey the.
All right, so that's enough of this. I'm gonna show you so this other video this idiot made.
As a young nation, and in the last 400 years, not a single black man has owned an entire city in America. I'm having to deal with ignorant masses of people who think that they're all Hebrews because their color is black. That does not make.
That's not true. We teach that because the scriptures the scriptures fits us, man. That we are the children of Israel, man. All right, not no color, man.
You Hebrew, your character does. It indeed does. Your character is very, very important. We get that straight. So let's look at it. So now we come back to this. So if you're cursed in the city and you're cursed in the field, that means that you had a teacher beforehand who was teaching you Torah, and you didn't follow it. You decided not to obey it, as some people had did with me. Oh, they came and they wanted to take an oath, then they go around slandering me and calling me names. But what do you think they're going to get from that? If you curse a son of Abraham, what do you think you're going to get? You're going to be cursed to the ground. You're never going to prosper. So therefore, this is who it applies to.
Number one, they curse because they violate laws, statutes, commandments, man. All right, you ain't got the truth. You ain't got the Most High name, man. All right, you put out more curses, man. All right, excuse me.
It applies to people who have been taught and have rejected the teachings of the Torah.
Right, that's the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. All right, it said all of Deuteronomy 28 and Leviticus 26.
That's why this applies to Israel only. It does not apply to black Americans, white Americans, or yellow Americans. It does not apply to those people. Why? Because it says, cursed shall you be in the city, and cursed shall you be in the field. Well, if we apply to black Americans in totality, very few black Americans actually own fields. And none of them own cities. Did any black American in history own a single city of America or a single state? The answer is historically no.
No, the answer is you're a liar. All right? You don't know what the hell you talking about, man. This guy don't know history, man. All right? So, let's go to one of my brother's pages. Right from brother. When you get time, you always pull information out. Alright, yeah, I ain't giving, see, diaphragm. Alright, should be his page. Where you at? Yeah, there you go. Alright. You always put information on Yashara from Nigeria. Alright, let's see what it says right here. Alright.
I think people forget that Nigeria's history is directly tied to the history of black Americans in America. I think
right, Israelites, man. There's the Igbos over there, the Israelites in Nigeria, all right, which are our brethren, we're the same people, and they're the descendants of the Israelites, the Igbo, and so on. They're brought from West Africa, man. All right.
People forget that enslaved people came from places in Nigeria, right? I'm Igbo. A lot of the Baya Biafra, a lot of enslaved people came from that area, right? And I think people don't realize that, right? So somebody who's in the diaspora, a black American, we could have very well shared the same great.
And we do. We one big family, man. You know, shit. This could be my cousin. You know, or this be my auntie, man. All right.
Great grandfather or great grandmother, right? I think we forget that families were broken up. People lived in fear. People lived in terror. People adjusted, their cultures and their traditions and their lives around the slave trade. Families were broken up. Society.
Well, this is the part I'm gonna get back to that.
Societies were ruined, and then after that, there was colonization. And during colonization, there was a mass murder of many people, many tribes, many elders. There was a lot of violence, perpetuated by the, colonizers and those who, supported the colonizers.
All right. I thought we only anything, man. Whatever, man.
That's not talked about. Like, our histories are directly impacted. They're directly connected. So the same things we have to deal with in America are similar to the same things we have to deal with in Nigeria. Just like we have a lack of information about black history in America is the same way that Nigerians have a lack of history, lack of information or awareness about the history of Nigeria and what happened and how that affects our psyche and how that affects who we are, where we're placed on this earth and how we're scattered around this earth, how I can't fluently speak my language, how I don't completely know about my history or, my culture. Those things are directly impacted by slavery and colonization and the following neocolonization, neocolonialism. So I always be careful to romanticize Nigeria, like, oh my gosh, everyone there is so woke, and just because we're all black, there's no, like, there's people who regurgitate the same anti-black stuff that people in America say, right? Because if everything you're taught is colonized history and colonized culture and colonized traditions, then you're not going to think otherwise until you step outside of that and view it for the way it is, or if you have access to that information or you're being taught that in school. And there's very few.
In order to be colonized, man, you gotta have something. You gotta have some type of property, man. All right, you have to own something. This is what we was in West Africa. I'm just showing you. I'm gonna also show you in America. All right. So I'm gonna give the definition of colonization. Colonize. Is it colonized a country or its citizens send a group of settlers to a place to establish political control over it. Come to settle among establish control the indigenous people of an area. All right. A white family trying to colonize the Caribbean. They did. So-called white man colonized Ephraim, man, in Caribbean islands. All right. It says to establish a colony, right? That's what Esau did, man. We was in West Africa, man. All right. That's part of the curses, man. Deuteronomy 28. And we did own cities and fields over there in West Africa, man. Deuteronomy 28 and 16. It said, cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field. Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field. All right. So everywhere we go, man, you go verse 19. It said, where cursed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shalt thou be when thou goest out. So wherever we go, man, the curse is gonna fall. Curse is gonna follow us, man. All right, this guy don't know what the hell he talking about, man. He talking about, no, we ain't own a single. Yes, we did, man. All right. What about Black Wall Street? All right. What about Rosewood? Okay. You know, before that, what about all those cities, man? Like that girl said, man. I mean, call no girl. That woman, man. That evil woman, that sister, that Israelite sister, man. What she said, man. You know, they colonized us, man. I mean, we had things before, man. All right, Black Wall Street. And we had other towns other than Wall Street, man. And also, you had towns in America, in Georgia, man. Esau made them abandon their towns, man. You know, that they own. All right. That the Black Wall Street Massacre. All right.
May 31st and June 1st, 2010 was the 89th anniversary of the worst civil unrest in the history of America, not counting the Civil War. It was called the Tulsa Race Riot, and over 300 people were killed. Much is written, and many stories have been told about what really happened. We must set the record straight. First thing that you must know if you really care is that it was not a race riot, but a race massacre. Stop calling it a riot like you were there. Innocent people, men, women, and children killed everywhere. It was a setup, a scheme, and a plan to destroy all of Little Africa or Greenwood land. It began on May 31st, 1921. What a scandalous front page story that was a lie. It implied that a black man attacked a white girl and had to die. Going so well. It came from the east.
Get some, cause this guy just making music videos and shit. All right, but get some. See Black Wall Street. All right, let me see. Play. Black Wall Street had over 600 businesses.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason.
There you go. It says what? It says in 1921, Tulsa, Oklahoma was dubbed the oil capital of the world. It had a population of 100,000 with a chamber of commerce, a opera house, a petroleum club. All right, petroleum club. All right. And a Ku Klux Klan. All right. Some of these problems, man, but shit right there. It said Black Wall Street clears the myth that I'm not gonna say African American, not African American, that Judah never acquired wealth in America. This also proves next time we have to be smart in our enemy. No, man, we got obey laws, statutes, commandments. All right, man, get to this point. Damn.
At that time, as was occurring in other cities, would enlist them in the Ku Klux Klan and blame their problems on Jews, African Americans, and Catholics. It was a simple answer to a complex problem for simple people. Meanwhile, they could stand in downtown Tulsa and look at the mansions in Little Africa, in the Black Wall Street.
I thought we ain't own anything.
And seethe.
I thought we ain't own anything, Simon Altaf. Fucking idiot.
It was a typical Monday morning for a 19-year-old black man named Dick Rowland. He worked as a bootblack in the downtown area. Because there was no restroom facilities, Rowland had permission to use the restroom on the top floor of the Drexel building. In order to reach the top floor, he had to use the elevator.
Dick Rowland didn't look down when he went to get on the elevator, and therefore, because of the unevenness of the two floors, he stumbled and started falling, and he reached out to break his fall and touched his operator, and she hollered rape. And so they arrested, the police came and arrested Dick Rowland about 10 o'clock in the morning. And that afternoon, the Tribune came out and told what happened in the Blue Building. And after they told what was going to happen, then they said, it looks like there will be a lynching in Tulsa tonight.
The newspaper described Rowland as Diamond Dick and told him an attempted assault upon a poor orphan girl who worked as an elevator operator to pay her way through college. The article said that she had scratches on her hands and face. In fact, she was not an orphan. She had deserted her husband in Kansas City and had been served with divorce papers in Tulsa 2 months before. And she was neither scratched.
It was the Greenwood Financial District. That's another name for Black Wall Street, all right?
Nor had torn clothes.
The real incident isn't the incident in the elevator. The real incident is what happens over at the offices of the Tulsa Tribune, which was the city's daily afternoon newspaper. And we know there were a couple articles in it that talked about what happened at the Drexel. One was a front page article that said something like "Nab Negro for attacking girl in elevator." But there was a second article, might have been an editorial, that we think was called "To Lynch Negro Tonight." We don't know really what it said, but we do know from white sources, from black sources, from government officials and others, that there was an article there suggesting that a lynch mob should gather downtown and to lynch Dick Rowland.
Talk of a lynching was prevalent throughout the city, and by evening, white crowds began to form around the courthouse. A burning cross was visible on Standpipe Hill, which
skip that.
Vain to hold their dear Greenwood, Mary Parish. As daylight approached, the whites were given a signal by a whistle, and the outrage took place. All of this happened while innocent Negroes were slumbering and did not have the least idea they would fall victims to such brutality. At the sound of another whistle, more than a dozen aeroplanes went up and began to drop turpentine balls on the Negro residences.
That's the first time in history that American City was domestically air bombed. You know, all right, this town or this city, whatever you want to call it, was owned by us, the tribe of Judah, so-called Negroes, and also among us, the tribe of Gad. All right, so-called Native Americans. Also, I believe that the tribe of Reuben so-called Seminole Indians was with us too. All right, because basically that land right now, that was actually Gadite land, man. All right, sovereign Gadite land. All right, and also in Oklahoma, there's we learned from this Reubenite brother, that there was Lashawan Kadash Hebrew letterings out there somewhere written on the rocks, man. All right, so I answered they weren't going to this land just for for nothing, man. All right, so all right, so some of our some of them had to know we was Israelites. All right.
While 5,000 whites with machine guns and other deadly weapons fired in all directions. Negro men, women, and children began making haste to flee to safety, but to no avail, as they were met on all sides with volleys of shot. They were killed in great numbers as they ran trying to flee to safety. Torchlights were used to burn up the Negro settlement. And in the meantime...
The what? I thought we ain't own anything, man.
They used large trucks loading up pianos, victrolas, and other articles that were left in the Negro homes.
I thought we ain't own anything. This guy a fucking joke, man. Let's go to hometown. Bronzeville. Yep. And he called Bronzeville because color our skin brown, bronze. All right. You see there go on our buildings. All right, let's jump to a better video. Let's see. There you go, Bronzeville history. All right.
Bronzeville. The neighborhood known as Bronzeville is today loosely defined as the area between Cermak and Washington Park, as well as Federal Street in Lake Michigan. One of the first documentations of the name Bronzeville to describe the area was by a Chicago Bee editor who said that it reflected the skin tone of the residents. This, however, was one.
You have to remember that the scriptures describe Yahushua in Revelation 1:14 on down that his feet was burnt like brass, man. All right, it was bronze, man. All right, there you go, bronze. So they prove that's a cut to you 2/3 out here, and you so-called wicked Edomites, so-called white people. That Yahushua and the rest of the 12 tribes of Israel, man, they was a dark brown people, man. All right, so-called black people, so-called black and brown people. All right.
Once there was a large African American population in the area,
Israelite population,
which did not
Tribe of
occur
Judah.
until the Great Migration between the years of 1910 and 1920. Before this, however, the neighborhood was known as Douglas, as the tract of land was donated to the federal government by a famous Illinois politician by the name of Stephen A. Douglas. One of the first known establishments in the area was in 1855 was that of St. James Parish, the first Irish church in the area on 26th Street and Wabash Street. After the Great Chicago Fire of 1871, the South Side began to receive more residents, including the white middle class, Irish Catholics, and German Jews. In 1874, a mission Sunday school was founded by Joseph F. Armour at 31st
And they're not the real Jews, the Jewish people. Khazars, Amalek. Alright.
Street and State Street, called the Plymouth Mission. In 1881, Armour died and left $100,000 to his brother so that he could establish a Sunday school for the community. His brother doubled the amount and built the Armour treat patients regardless of race and or nationality until its closing in 2009 to teach children skills. The Michael Reese Hospital was opened by the United Hebrew Relief Association that was given the funding by Michael Reese, who lived from 1816 to 1878. The mission of the hospital was to treat patients regardless of race and or nationality until its closing in 2009. In 1990, the hospital established a training school for nurses, which was dedicated to charity, medical research, and education, and closed its doors in 1981 as nurses started receiving more training at other locations. In 1889, Christian Brothers established De La Salle Institute at 35th Street and Wabash Street. In 1889, a Standard Club
family apartments often got filled with extended family members who could often help pay rent. The Bronzeville became increasingly overpopulated as restricted covenants severely limited the geographical areas where African Americans were allowed to live. New construction was mainly limited to a handful of small 1- and 2-story structures which were built as investments by white speculators with an eye of growing potential of the African American economic market. Fortunately, 2 major events later changed how businesses and establishments were funded. The first event happened in Jesse Bing established and opened Chicago's first black-owned bank. Discrimination in lending was a major problem for African Americans looking to become businessmen and women who wanted to invest in their own community. The bank became an instant success that helped plow the financial ground for the development of Bronzeville. And started to get reversed as news got out that the Jordan building at State and 32nd Street was becoming extremely profitable with an impressive apartment building and combination store. This precedent was closely followed by a series of ambitious African American owned and financed projects that were carried out along State Street. Bronzeville established and opened black churches that acted as central clearinghouses.
They would be fined $5 per minute they were late by. Jazz musicians played in many places, particularly black and tan clubs. Some of these places include the Regal Theater and the Sunset Cafe. The Regal Theater was located as what is now known as 4710 South Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, which was a nightclub and music venue that opened in 1928 and had an auditorium of 3,000 seats.
I thought we ain't on
Newport News, Virginia.
This guy know what he's talking about, man.
Senator Doug.
Alright, so let's go Rosewood. Alright. Not that silly ass show with Damien, the guy who played Damien in Friday. Alright. The real Rosewood down there in Florida. Alright. You know what they was from Trapper Reuben, you know, they still is like part of our people. You know. Alright. See, Rosewood Massacre.
To that tree.
And Rosewood Tulsa was a small
right, many ways.
Yeah,
town
some of them, there's a
owned
few
by
white people
Reuben.
live there, but
You know, try to ruin the Seminoles. All right.
not.
You know, you had you know, let's just show you, man, that this guy, he don't know what the hell he talking about, man. You know. All right. They had more towns. Oh, Chicago Black Belt. You know. Let's see. Let's see. Going up Chicago Black Belt. All right. Let's see.
My family, we moved to Chicago in August of 1919. This was a month after the famous race ride.
Right, that's that race ride, man. They took Jake Mantis and stuff, man, in Bronzeville. All right.
That did not deter people like my father and mother from bringing their families north. They came for three principal reasons.
In the area of Bronzeville, I guess. Yeah.
To be able to fight back if they were attacked, to be able to vote, and to be able to, as Bronzeville, and which most Caucasians, and they call it the ghetto, the black ghetto. In that neighborhood, in that community, everything that I could want was there. It was like a little city within a city.
I thought we owned these cities. All right, here go the scriptures right here that links up with Deuteronomy 28 and 28 and 16. All right, 17. Basket store, talking about your pockets, money. All right, but basically Deuteronomy 28, 16 and 19. All right, there goes scripture links up with that. It says what? It says Isaiah 40. It says Isaiah 42 and 22. But this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes. They are hid in prison houses. All right, snared in holes. Talking about other philosophies. Robbed and spoiled. Many other they've been robbed and spoiled by the other nations, man. All right. And they are hid in prison. Who in the prison? So-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. They are for a prey, none delivereth. Right. Then it happened in Greenwood District in Tulsa, Oklahoma, man. All right. We was a prey to those damn devils, man. So-called white man, Esau, man. All right. It says right here, it said, none delivered for a spoil, and none said restore. Right, man. They ain't said restore Black Wall Street, Rosewood, and Chicago Black Belt.
Independent, parallel institutions, parallel economic, parallel religious, parallel political. Your father and your mother might work outside, but they would come back in the neighborhood to spend whatever money they had to spend. So the dollar actually turned around in the old Black Belt more than 6 times. So we felt a sense of independence. It was just
6 times. But I thought we didn't own anything. I thought Deuteronomy 28. I thought Deuteronomy 28, 16, and 19 don't fit us so-called blacks in America. God, fucking joke, man. See what else this fool says, man. Fool always, no. All right.
America is a young nation, and in the last 400 years, not a single black man has owned an entire city in America.
Well, we just proved that wrong.
So therefore, these verses in Deuteronomy 28 are literally and figuratively, both in the Peshat both in the drash and in the sod and in the remez, they apply to Israel only, the land. That means,
yeah, but they did apply to that when we got ran out
in
of
the Hebrew scrolls,
AD, man. All right. But it also talking about the future too.
Definite article always takes us to the America was never your land. So either it's a land of immigration, that you immigrated or emigrated to America, or you were brought in.
We was over here before that, man. When our ancestors went under the Moors, man, was number of Israelites, man, that leaving Islamic faith, man. We was over here. All right. Jake didn't just go down in one day, man. All right. Matter of fact, we gave Esau permission to come over here. We shouldn't did anyway, but the prophecy had to be fulfilled. He couldn't come over here, man. He'd get his damn head cut off, man. All right. All right. And this is Gad, lad, our brethren, man. All right. You know, the world made for our sakes, man. All right. So yeah, America is our land, man. Actually, if you think about it. All right. Let me see second address. Let me see second address, chapter 6, verse. Let's see. Second Ezra chapter 6 verse 54. And after these, Adam also whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of hell come we all. Right? Everybody said we come out of Adam. And the people whom thou chose, that's Israel. Deuteronomy 7:6, Deuteronomy 14:1. All right. All right. And Deuteronomy 26:15 already down to 18. All right. It says what? All that I've spoken, O Yahweh, because thou made the world for our sakes. I'm gonna read this again. Not Deuteronomy, but second Esdras chapter 6, verse 55. It said, all this I have spoken before thee, O Yahweh, because thou madest the world for our sakes. As for the other people which are come of Adam, thou hast said they are nothing but be like the spiller, has likened to the abundance of them until the drop that falleth for the vessel. Right, man? All right. All right. It says right here, it says, oh now, O Yahweh, behold, these heathen which have ever been reputed as nothing. Talking about Esau, the rest of the nations, so-called white men and Africans. All right. The rest of the nations begun to be lords over us to devour us. Right, man. All right. And this links up with Deuteronomy 28:16 and 19, man. You know. All right. It says, but we, thy people, whom thou hast called thy firstborn, thy only begotten, and thy fervent lover, are given to the hands, into their hands. If the world now be made for our sakes, why do we not possess inheritance with the world? How long should this endure? Right. How long should we catching all this hell, man? Until the world made for our sakes, man. So yeah, America is ours, man. All right. So I'm gonna end it here, brothers.
As slaves in the past,
you know,
it's not your.
All right.